80s, the way they talk about it is kind of like after that movie, things kind of started going downhill in terms of dance being prevalent in New York City, crews being all over the place. A lot of people, unfortunately, succumbed to drug addiction. People went on to go just live a normal life, go get jobs, Job Corps, military.
Well, I want to touch on that real quick because, again, it's always being said, how can you say you've been down for 40 years when you was MIA this long? I'm going to tell you why. Back in around 85, I was making a lot of money. I was making good money. And I started, you know, dressing, looking fly. And part of that was having an 8-ball.
Okay.
Which
was what most people were doing in the 80s.
Clubs, drinking, the ladies. But then I ran into this hot shorty, man, in Bushwick. And she turned me on to smoking it. I started smoking it with her. And in a matter of like 6 to 8 months, I went from having all this money to just having the sneakers, the shirt, the pants, and the shirt on my back. I sold everything. I went on a serious crack mission. And I've never spoken about this. I shared it with one of my crew members, but from 85 to 86, even going into 87, for those 6 months, I was bad, you know, and I was in the streets, I was stealing, robbing, I was doing what a crackhead would fucking do. I joined the military. When I left to the military, I started getting better, but they stationed me in New Jersey. In New Jersey, I was able to, for like I said, weekend leave, I get on the bus, be in the city, and I would get high. You know, and when I got out of the military, I thought I was on a good path, and I still went and got high. After that, I ran into my sister, who didn't let me in. None of my family wanted me around. Rang my sister's bell, looked up. It was July 4th. I was on the roof. I was up for about 3 days on the roof. Fireworks. I felt like my heart was gonna fucking fall out of my chest. At that point, next morning, I went to my sister, I rang the bell, I said, hey, I'm ready. Because they kept saying, go get help, go get help. I don't need help, leave me alone. That day, I felt I needed help, so she took me to a program, Odyssey House. And I went in, I stood there for a full year, and I said, when I go in, I'm gonna get my shit right. I went in.
Take your time.
I came out of there, and it was 86. I came out, and to this day, pretty much drug-free. Now I'll smoke a little weed because it helps my health, you know what I mean? At night, you know, when I'm in pain or whatever, I'll smoke a little, you know, the oil shit. I don't smoke regular weed. I don't roll blunts, I don't do none of that. I just smoke the oil, and that keeps me good. But I stood drug-free, you know? And I promised my mom that she would never have to suffer again behind that, you know? And when I was getting high, I didn't give a shit. You know, I ripped off this drug dealer. He gave me money. I ripped him off, and he caught me in the hallway in the crack house, and he put a gun right to my head. I swear to God, I thought he was gonna shoot me. He said, yo, I'll kill you right here. Nobody's gonna give a shit. And I said, yo, I'll give you your money back. And he's like, let's go. And we went, and I rang my mother's bell. I said, Mom, I owe this man, I think it was like $80. She went inside. She threw the money out. No questions asked. She gave him his money, and that was that. Right after that was when I went to the rehab program. I stood there. But you know the good thing about when I was in the program, the positive part of it, that I was at the adult facility on our, what's that little island where the cable cars go?
Roosevelt Island.
Yeah, that's where the
Gold Cooler? Was that the facility all the way at the end of the island?
Well, I don't know if it was at the end of the island, but it was called Odyssey House at the time. But they would have like little talent things, and I would get down. And they just felt I was, you know, this was like you go through levels. I was on my second level of being in the program, and they felt I would be a good influence for the young kids over there on, I think it was 6th Street or something like that. And by West 4th, in that area, they're there. So they sent me there, and I became like like an adult leader, you know, and
an ambassador of some sort.
Yeah, and it helped me a lot because I got involved with the kids. They would dance. I would get down with them and stuff. So the positive part about it there was I was able to share some stuff and be a good influence.
It uplifted you to be in a different position, a position of helping leadership and kind of boosting your morale again from.
So when I left the facility there, I went and got like 2 months of one-on-one therapy. I did that for, and then after that, man, I never got high again. But that's my MIA. Yeah. But I never stopped dancing. I never stopped listening. I've always had the music. I still got the cassettes somewhere in my house, before there were CDs and all of that. So shit happens. You don't know somebody's history, man. Don't speak on it, man, if you didn't walk their shoes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Speak about what you know about, and leave it there. Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think
that was not easy.
That's not easy to share. I think things like that, depression, drug abuse, a lot of elements that we kind of blame ourselves, we put it on ourselves, we deal with the pain. We don't really speak about it to people, so people don't know our story. Yeah. They don't know what we had to go through to even exist. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that, and I hope that's a greater inspiration to anyone out there really dealing with a lot of things, whether it's drug abuse, whether it's mental health, depression, poverty. A lot of things could get to us and take us off our path in life.
Path in life, exactly.
So thank you so much for sharing.
But the best thing is, man, one, there is a God. I believe He's a God is here, and prayer works. Prayer works, man. I believe that God listens. If you sit and listen, He hears you, and He will talk back to you. So yeah.
So you go through a very tough period in your life. You overcome such a hard thing. At this point, this city is a different city. It's the 90s. Yes. And New York is, crime capital in the early 90s. Yeah. New York is still New York. There's no internet. So whatever life you're living is whatever life is in front of you, your family, your friends, the life, your job. Yeah. When do you first get a hunch that there's still some sort of a dance community out here?
Okay. When I came out of the program, freestyle music was the thing, Stevie B.
A big thing. A big thing in the
That's when the Roxy's became 1018s. Okay. I started going there, and I was out of commission. Like, I had clothes like, my mother used to bring me dress clothes when I was in the program, like suits and stuff. So I went, I was kind of dressed awkward, And my niece's boyfriend was like, "Yo, what's up with your uncle?" He said, "Don't worry, he just got out of weight, And as soon as I got the vibe, I vibed right in, man. I learned the style of dance that they were doing with freestyle. I was hustling back again, and I started I just flowed right into everything, you know what I mean? And the music did start to become part of who I was and everything I was doing and stuff. But you started mentioning the 90s.
Yeah, because there was nothing, there was a dance scene, but it was very underground at that point. It wasn't like you could just walk down the block and see b-boys in a park like
right,
in your era. Yeah. It was very underground. The city was a very tough city, new mayor, a lot of different things changed. Yeah. So the dance culture was more so in the club as opposed to in the street.
Right, yeah.
So you said that you came into the freestyle scene, your scene was going on. When was your first time kind of getting the word of rock is making a comeback or existing? Or right. When was the first time you heard of that?
When I, within the 90s was, I met my daughter's mom, Brianna's mom, and kind of really got into her. And she lived in Jersey, so I spent a lot of time in Jersey. So I ran it, I don't know if Ralph called me or if I saw him, but anyway, he told me he wanted me to do an interview. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I met him in Knickerbocker Park, right in the open area of Knickerbocker Park. This is when I kind of got a little feel of that rock was because.
Was this when you were wearing a white polo shirt and you were talking? And you just were really like.
Yeah. So I didn't ask, what is this for? What is it about? I didn't ask no question. The guy just talked to me to talk about rock, and I spoke about it. I said one thing about that. Sometimes I went to places, I say, hey, do you rock? And they go, rock? What's that? I go, never mind. You know, you don't know what's up, because rock was fading. It wasn't existing anymore. So I did that whole interview with him, and I remember this was roughly between 96 and 97, because right after that, 98, I moved to Florida. So now I'm in Florida. I'm away from the whole scene, from everything. But I had conversations with Ralph. I had a slight conversation with Clarky, because now I'm watching a little bit, you know, and Clark, I talked to him, and he goes, yo, I'm going to London. I'm going down with the 7 Gems and with Ken Swift. I'm like, yo, hook me up with him. You know, have him call me something. Let me, you know, so I can, no, I got it. I'm representing Dynamic Spinners. I got it. You know what I mean? It's like he didn't want me to become part of it. You know what I mean? That's how I felt. I confronted him on this. I said, why would you even do that? You didn't even give me his number. And then when I confronted him, he goes, you want his number now? I said, come on, man. I'm already in the scene. You know what I mean? Yeah. But shit, I wanted to participate and share my history in the rock, you know? But that didn't happen. Later on, I found out that the interview I was doing was supposed to be on the Freshest Kids video.
The movie that came out in 2006, right?
I don't know if it was the movie. I know it was just the Freshest Kids video.
I think it was like a documentary movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Crazy Legs didn't want no history on that video prior to breaking.
Wow.
He didn't want that. He didn't want anything exposed as far as.
So there was interviews pertaining to stuff before.
Yeah, explaining a little bit about what rock actually, which it would have been dope to been in there. So they didn't put it. They scrubbed it, and then Ralph took it and added it to his Rocker's Revenge
DVD.
Right. I told him, why'd you put me all the way at the end? He said, because I saved the best for last. These were his words to me. We kind of were friends, man. What tore everything up was he wasn't thinking before he spoke, and he was saying stuff that wasn't accurate. And that's where the whole confrontation came in, you know what I mean? The whole creating dynasty and all that. A lot of it is false. I've talked to him about it. I've been on the phone with him for hours talking. And, you know, I said, yo, just say you made an error, man. Just say you made a mistake. You know, change the patches on your guys' colors. Keep it right. Keep it real. Anyway, that's another story. But that's when I kind of started noticing a little bit about the rock starting to grow a little bit. But it wasn't until Sammy Lugo, again, called me like 100 times. Yo, Pops, you gotta get online. You gotta get online, bro. Rock is growing, man. It's everywhere. I'm like, I wasn't into it. I was like, all right, so I got on there on MySpace. So I get on there and I start seeing stuff. I see the interview with Marine Boy talking shit about me and Sam. I see guys dancing. And again, I'm gonna speak about this and I'm probably gonna get emotional. But first time I saw guys rocking, and I literally started crying when I saw it. It was a video with the guys from Russia, and they were in the basement, and Give It Up, Turn It Loose was on. The break came on. All of them, it was quite a few people. Boom, boom, bah. The whole house was just all of them in that basement. It wasn't a big basement. But when I saw that shit, I was like, what the fuck? All these years later, look at that. I got so emotional watching that. I even shared it with them when I was in Russia. And I shared it with them, man, how emotional that made me. That made me get back into the scene. That little video.
What was it about the video that made you so emotional? Was it?
It's just to watch the song, to hear the song, to see them get down like that, to see them all dropping jerks like that. That did it for me. It was like, wow.
It took you back to a time where...
It took me like to the joint, you know, and stuff like that. from watching that video gave me the idea, and I did this like 2 or 3 times. The first event that we did in San Francisco for rock, what the heck was that?
Was it the Hold Down? Was it the Hold Down, or was it the?
No, damn. Can't remember. It was in 2010. I can remember that, and it was in San Francisco.
The Rock Dance Summit?
Rock Dance Summit. Shit. Yeah, it was the first Rock Dance Summit.
First Rock Dance Summit.
Yeah. So when we were there, Ringo was there too that day, and a couple of guys were there. I had asked him to throw on Listen to Me, and I said, when the break comes, I want everybody in here. There were moms that were there with the kids, even the moms, I want all of y'all. When that break comes down, I want to see everybody throwing jerks. And sure enough, man, the break came on and everybody started dropping jerks because I got the idea from watching the Russians in that video. And I just stood like this and watched it. Just watched everybody, wow. So beautiful. There's a picture where Ringo's like coming up on the jerk, you know? And everybody's going down. So it looked cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a, and then the following year I did it again, and I think the third year too we did it again. But you know, I was hoping it would be something that if the Rock Dance Summit would have kept going and growing, I was hoping that we could have made that a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
How was it for you to? You're now you know you've experienced this dance in its heyday, almost had a part in making it what it is to the world, and then now all these years later to come back and see a new generation, a new crop of people, a new crop of individuals asking you for advice, history.
Yeah, yeah.
How was that for you on you know an emotional level?
Yeah. Emotionally is a big thing because once Facebook came on and the whole messaging thing was available, I got messages. Well, the first message I got on MySpace was from Bandit, right? He goes, because on Facebook I was on my name Tino, you know, which is short for my real name, Florentino. So he goes, "Are you Papo that lives in Bushwick?" And I go, "Yeah." He says, "Are you the guy who did the video with the jerks where it looks like you're almost falling down and you're spinning around?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh my God, bro, can I use that jerk? I wasn't getting it, you know, because it's still
Fresh,
brand new to me. Yeah. So I said, "Yeah, man, go ahead, do it, man." It's like, oh. And then some other kid from Spain hit me up, but that was brief. But he started talking to me around. "Oh, you Papo?" So after that, Facebook came about, and I would get messages. "Yo, I want you to tell me, help me. I want to send you a video, explain to me what I'm doing wrong." And I always kept it true. It's like, "Yo, don't do that, don't do this, do that. That looks good on you. You're not on beat," you know. And I would, you know, try to help them out. And still today, I get, you know, even with being in the scene as long as I have since 2010, which was the Rock Summit, I still get a lot of kids, man, hit me up, and that makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah, it almost brings me to your earlier time when you were making those visits at that building with the kids.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the leadership.
Odyssey House. Yeah.
It's like it's almost like it keeps going.
Yeah.
It's like you're still here giving advice to a younger generation.
Yeah. I try to stress to them, man. I keep telling them, don't go out there dance looking and mimicking somebody else. You know, and I've told guys, even guys who have a name for themselves, I've sent a message like, "Dude, your style is changing. And now I see what you're doing, and when I look at you doing it, I don't see you. I see the person you're mimicking, you know." And I said, you know, to me, that's not a good feel. You should stay original.
Yeah.
Use some of those moves, but still be original, you know. So I try to stress that a lot, especially to my guys, you know, my crew members and stuff.
So speaking of your crew members, Dynamic Spinners is not just a 1975 crew.
Right.
They're well and alive today. So speak a little bit about how Dynamic Spinners made its way from Brooklyn to now being an international crew.
Yeah.
And who are some of the people today holding your crew down?
Well, a couple of the guys, of the original guys, a lot of them are still around, but they're not into the whole dancing thing anymore.
Yeah,
some of them are not. Some of them are on Facebook and stuff like that, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
Vincent, which was my boy, and me and him at the time, we were the battlers. out of all of us, me and him were the ones that always confronted, you know what I mean, and ready to dance. He watches a lot, but he doesn't post it. But I ran into him like a few years later after the whole scene started growing, and he would come back and say, why are they talking about this? Why are you guys doing jerks like that? Why are their arms all the way out here? And, you know, and I was like, it's just different people teaching different styles, and it's changing. So I tend to try to always say, look, do what you do, but just so you're aware, when we did jerks, our arms were here. They were not out here, you know what I mean? I said, you can do that, but just keep the original part in there as well. Throw a jerk original and then switch it up, do whatever you want. You know, so I try to express that a lot, you know, especially to my guys. If I see them dancing shitty, I'll message them, say, yo, why'd you post that, you know, and why'd you let that guy do this to you, you know, and it's like, yo, look at this battle you're doing. The guy's on the floor and you're just standing there. So you should have been smoking him, you know what I mean? So I try to, for them to realize some of the things they're doing and not doing and stuff. But yeah, man.
What are some of the members holding down the crew today, and some of the different countries that you have members?
Well, none of the original guys actually, you know, still keeping it alive. Tom Bum will once in a while, you know, do his thing, you know, his, you know, dynamic spinners, you know. But right now, my first two guys that I got from China, Lil Key and Ocean, okay. You know, they did a two-on-two final rock battle for the finals with what's his name? Palito? Is it Palito? He's shit, I can't remember. But they did the final battle outside in China. This is when I first went out to China. And these kids were so in sync with one another that it reminded me of me and JR. Their style, they knew when to switch sides, and boom, they would burn these guys and would turn around, and they killed it. They made the other two guys get frustrated, you know. So when I saw them, I was like, yeah, I would love you guys to represent us, man. You remind me so much of, you know, me and JR. And they said, yeah, all right. So that's when the first two guys, yeah. And then he started growing it out there. Lil Key, he is president, and he's growing it. You know, he's got a lot of members, you know. And then I got these two young kids that hit me up from Japan, and I saw him dance in this little space in his house. And I loved his style. He says, yo, I want to represent dynamic spinners. I said, yes, man, for sure. So he's young, but I told him, yo, just keep recruiting, you know what I mean? I asked him in Japan. So I think just made like 2 or 3 guys that represent there. And then Stigger from Paris, that's my man right there too, man. He came to me and he says, listen, I researched a lot and I see where dynamic spinners, where they represent. He says, I admire who you are. I told him, I'm not perfect. I can get angry, frustrated, and everything just like everybody else, but I do have love for people and love for the dance. So he says, I want to represent dynamic spinners. And so he's representing in Paris, and he's growing it. He's got several members. He actually got 2 new members from Italy that are now representing dynamic spinners.
Yeah, I think I've seen those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. I got this kid, Goldie. He's in Colombia, but he's from Paris. But his wife and he lives in Colombia now, and he does his thing out there. He's representing for us. And then Mexico, man, got all my guys there in Mexico. You know,
so you got the geographic locations right now, man.
Yeah. I had this kid from India, but he was pretty decent, and he started just talking nonsense and saying things. He said something to Miss Little that he disrespected her. She called me. So, yo, what's up? I was like, what happened? Oh, he said something about something. I was like, yo, I called him. I said, yo, you can't get down with us, man. We don't do that, you know. Yeah. Had this other kid from Colombia too. He wanted to be down, but he was arguing with our own crew members. I said, yo, how are you gonna argue with our own crew member and want to be down with us? I said, I can't either. So
it's tough.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, he was gonna fly me out to Colombia now, but because I told me he's not ready to be down with us, he's flying out rough. So,
Oh, yeah, there's a major event coming.
yeah, I was actually supposed to go, but because I got his patch in my house and everything, I made it with the colors of the Colombian flag, and that's another thing I do. All the patches I make the colors of their flag, of their country. You know what I mean? So Stiga, it's got the red, white, and blue. You know, China got the white and red only.
Yeah.
So yellow, I think yellow, red, and blue was Colombia, but you know, I can't have somebody just talking nonsense.
Yeah,
He even started some shit. Papa Love called me. Said, "What's up with your boy here, man? He's talking too much shit." So I said, "Look, man, I gotta cut you off, bro.
Yeah,
Not about that. You know what I mean?"
You gotta bring that down.
Yeah,
you know, keep it on the
yeah.
dance
I
floor.
mean, I've lost my temper a little bit too.
Yeah,
Even
I think we all are. We all have.
Yeah.
What? Speaking of that, like, what you throughout this interview, you've given different advices on different things. What advice do you have for today's rockers, the ones that are coming up, really want to be a part of this dance, but of course, not too different from other dances. There's a lot of stuff to go through.
Yeah.
There's politics. There's the actual movement and the moves.
Yeah.
And learning it correctly.
Yeah.
There's the music. There's the events.
Right.
If someone's coming to you, they just fresh. What is your advice to them to develop them into a good rocker?
Yeah, I tell them first, like if they really want my advice, I've said send me a video. It's the first thing I do. Send me a video of what you do, and I watch it, and then I'll critique it to them, right? But I also tell them, look, don't listen to the words that are being said when it comes to this dance. Like people saying, this is the original style. Or for instance, outlaw rock is the rock, you know. That's not fact, all right? That's not the only way, that's not hating on the outlaw rock style, you know, or the BVDs, you know. I got a lot of love for them. I know a lot of them, you know. I'll show love, a lot of love to Papa Love. But don't listen to those words and then become that style. Then, oh, I'm gonna learn this because they said that this is the way, you know. This is not Mandalorian, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I said, just watch everything, learn everything, understand everything. And then I tell them what I'm saying is, I'm not saying Bushwick rock is the way to rock and it's the only rock, no. Bushwick rock is my style and this is how I represent it and this is how I do it and this is how we did it. And take some of that, take everything you see, but create you, be you, you know, create your own style and understand, you know, the music, the breaks, you know, not throwing jerks throughout the whole song, not throwing burns and burns and burns and burns in there. You gotta move, you gotta freestyle, you gotta dance. We used to dance, you know what I mean? After the burning stuff started, the beginning was burning, was very little movement, you know, just doing stuff like that, you know. But then we started doing this, you know, the footwork stuff, and we danced. When the break came, boom, we got down. So I tell a lot of them that too, man. Use the music, use the beats, the sound. I had this one kid, he kept sending me his video, and the song went from the song of a girl singing, and then a rapper guy came in and started rapping. But his style of rapping had a flow, you know. But he kept dancing to the beat. I said, you know, sometimes you got to use the music, the lyrics.
Yeah.
I said, if you would have went from that girl singing and then boom, blew up on those lyrics, and he said to me, I've never thought about that. So little things like that, tell me, you can use lyrics, you can use horns, beats, you know, all kinds of stuff. Just make sure you use it properly, you know, and stay on beat. Always listen to the song. And when you're dancing and you start throwing jerks, is what I always say, throw your jerks hard. Don't throw soft, wacky jerks. And no half jerks on showcases.
You heard it there. That's great advice on definitely how to develop yourself as a rocker and improve yourself, and you'll be fine-tuned for the dance floor when you come on there.
Be creative, man.
So we mentioned this gentleman's name a couple of times throughout the interview. It seemed like some things were going on and things went to a fever pitch that inevitably led to a quite infamous battle that took place in Russia.
Yeah.
I know I stood up for that battle. I forgot if it was 2 o'clock in the morning for me because of the time zone.
Yeah, the time zone.
But that battle was a very, very heated battle.
Yeah.
Like Muhammad Ali, Foreman.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, that type of era of rivalry, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. Y'all even went to a part where y'all sat down because y'all both were physically tired,
Yeah.
but y'all still were talking to each other.
Yeah. Well, I sat down one because I was a little tired, but I sat down to say, I'm bored, bro. You're boring me.
Okay.
But let's get into it.
So let's talk about how the battle came to be, what your mindset was going into the battle,
Yeah.
the actual battle that took itself, and kind of like what came of that whole experience for you.
All right. Before we touch on that, I want to be able to share and try to keep rock going, because I know I'm not going to be able to keep doing it, but I wanted to keep going. I wanted to see, bro, if I die, that it's still around, that dynamic spinners continues to live on. So I try to think of little things to do, which is when I came up with the IDRC online. You know, I said, man, a lot of these kids from other countries, I'm sure they would love to be here in the States and show off their styles. So I came up with that idea. I said, you know what? Let's have an online competition, and you guys can showcase all your stuff, man. You see what happens. You know, I said I got $100, but that went from 100 to 200 to came up to $1,000. People donating, and I loved that. I said, man, this is awesome. But then when I did the one for the States, it became a whole politic thing. But I did that because I want all those guys out in other countries to feel like we see you. Yeah? We see you, and I want you to show us what you got. So you're not being ignored, you're not wasting your time, and you know, we're seeing the rock grow. So we wanted to keep going. So that's why I did that, you know, to show love to those people out in other countries, which it turned out pretty good. It was a good turnout. So with that said, you know, when I watched a couple of the Battle of the Gods, I kept, you know, I saw a bunch of them, and you know, it was all breaking.
Yeah.
So I reached out to whoever was doing it, and it was the top 9 crew from out there, and I reached out to them, and I said, yo, how about showing a little love for OG rockers? You know, let us go out there and showcase to the world rock that came before breaking. I did a video. I wrote a letter. I had a couple of guys, Renegade, DJ Renegade, Rob Nasty. I didn't ask Rob Nasty to do anything. They just reached out to Rob, say, yo, this Papo guy, blah, blah, what do you think about him? And, you know, because I told him, I said, I want to battle with Ralph. I think it'll be a good battle, you know. And right now we're having our differences. Maybe we can go out there and settle our differences. My whole intention was to kind of point things out to him and also to squash things. But every time I put my hand out, he slapped it away. But, so when I approached them for this, they came back and said, okay, so if we agree, how much money do you want? And I said, well, this amount of dollars. And they was like, how about this amount? I was like, all right, that's fair enough for me. I'm content with that. I said, but that's got to be equal. We both equally get the same amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So that's how that happened. So I am the reason that happened. And I pushed it because I want rock to continue.
To get worldwide exposure.
Yeah, and it's not about me, and it's not about what I did, but I need to address that because I don't say a lot of those things. So people, yeah, because it's like, nah. You went out to Russia to battle me because I asked for you. I could have asked for Ringo, you know, I could have asked for anybody, but I asked for you. So you being out there was because of me. And I don't speak on that. But then words get changed, words get twisted, and things are said, and it's like, so then it makes me get to a point, so you know what, I gotta start saying my piece, you know what I mean? So that's how the whole battle came about, going out there. I wanted to squash things. You know, I honestly believe that I wanted to, you know, build with him. We're out there, you know. I try to build with his crew members. You know, I kind of talked to him a little bit. I told, what's his name, man? Their main rocker out there.
Be on point?
No, in Russia.
Oh, FT.
FT, yeah. I'm not dissing anybody by not remembering names. I'm just not good at remembering names. I'm really not. So I talked to him. I said, yo, you and I should have a one-on-one, you know, just so you can hear my side. Because, again, they're always saying things about me, and I'm not saying nothing back. And it's being said. And I'm being thrown under the bus for a lot of things I've never really done, man. And I don't care to say the truth. I will say the truth. You know what I mean? And if I said what I said, I don't care what anybody thinks about what I said. You know what I mean? That's how I felt at the moment. That's what I said. But I have to touch on this. He keeps, Ralph, I don't know why you constantly have my name in your mouth, but everywhere he goes, he's always bashing me. They give him a mic, like one competition battle that took place, was it in New York? Or
Philadelphia?
Or Philly?
When he had the exhibition battle against
Papa Love, yeah, against Papa Love.
He said
gave him the mic, the first thing he said, you know, well, I'll give some respect, but Papo774, that guy, you know. And everybody's like, people message me, it's like, why is he bringing you up? You're not even there, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't know, man. You know, he did an interview with you, he brought me up. He did an interview not too long ago, it was on YouTube with some kid he's in Florida now, but he was down when Ralph was doing his thing with the dollar dances. And that's another thing. When Ralph was doing dollar dances, a couple of times, I said, yo, let me know when you're doing the next one. I'll try to come out and support it, you know? Because having kids and starting to learn, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
He never contacted me, just like Clarky never contacted me. You know what I mean? It's like they kept me out of the way, you know? But, you know, I didn't want to continue that friction, you know? And then he goes out there. I told, God, it was Kostek and a couple of the guys from the Top 9 crew, right? Fuck, I'm sorry, I don't remember names. When I got out there, I said, look, Ralph is here, and he's got his Dynasty crew members here. There's quite a few of them. I'm here alone with your guys. I said, so I just need you to make sure that I don't get into any shit with them, you know, any beef, you know, because I don't know how angry or whatever they're feeling or he's feeling, and he comes at me. I'm down to protect myself, but I'm in another country, far. Yeah. So I said, I just don't want no trouble. I told him, that's it. I think they said that to him. He gets on the mic and says, yeah, he was even talking shit about me to my crew guys and to the people who did the event. So it's just a twist of words is what he does, you know. Now, when we were dancing, my goal, believe it or not, was to take him because I felt his ego was up here, and I wanted to bring it back down here. And while we were dancing, if you see me talking, it was me telling him, you do know that you don't have a lot of moves, right? You just have about 5. I've watched over 10 videos of you, and in all of them, you're doing the same moves over and over and over again. And I was breaking him down that way. That was my way of burning him. Maybe people say I could talking shit to him or whatever. It doesn't matter. We were there. It was me and him, and that's what I felt I needed to do. You know, every time you do a burn, you throw him in the air. You grab the ass, you throw him in the air. And if you see me, I'm going like this. You know, I go like this to him, and that threw him off his game. And that night he was over. I threw him off his game because now he's trying to figure out what am I going to do that's not the same 5 moves. So mental, just like you do in boxing, right? Mental game. So that's what I did. A lot of times I kept pointing him out. I said, you see, what else you got? And I stopped at one point. I said, no, let me see some footwork, bro. Come on. You just standing on like this. Come on. And it was just a whole mental game for me, man. And then at certain points, I did get down. It's kind of hard, and everybody who's flown out there and has danced, breakers and everything, they all tell you the same thing, man. The jet lag shit gets to you, man.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to dance jet lagged a little bit. And I noticed another thing, because I watched. You see us dancing, and it looks like we're not moving too fast. But I think that's just the video from being recorded live from a crusher and hitting us. By the time it gets to us, it's a little, because if you watch, Ken Swift when he was out there, when Crazy Leg was out there with Storm, they were battling, it just looked like they were just slow, you know? If you look at them, they look slow, but you're not being slow, you're doing your thing, you know? So a lot of times people say, yo, why you didn't get loose the way you do? I said, one, I was tired, you know? Two, I was moving. It doesn't look like I was, but I was, you know? So, you know, and then he says that he burned me. I don't know, but I've gotten tons of messages. I've gone to events right after that, you know, freestyle shit, whatever. It's like, yo, you smoked Ralph. Yo, you smoked him, yeah? You know, I got a lot of that. So it doesn't matter, but if he feels he did, I feel I did, I don't mind doing it again. And we could do it here in the States where we're not jet lagged and we get down. As long as you don't lay hands on me, because I'm 62 years old, man, and I'm not afraid to fight, but I'm too old to fight.
And you don't need to be fighting.
Don't need to be fighting.
Yeah.
Just dance.
So do you feel you won that battle?
I do, yeah. Especially, one, just my whole introduction. Did you watch my intro?
Yeah.
The song was on point. The song talked about Bushwick. I represented Bushwick 100. My shirt had Bushwick on it, you know. And when I took his crown off, stepped on it, kicked it, and gave him that Burger King crown, crowd went crazy. His own crew went crazy. You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, I don't even need to dance with you anymore. No matter what happens after this, you right there, that little shit I just did, you got smoked. There was no need for me to do anything else. You know, when he came out, he had that crown on, and he's throwing the punches. I don't even know if there was music. Yeah. But when I came out, I had that song made. I had it edited. I had DJ made one. Chop it up, you know, Bushwick, 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 you know what I mean? And again, you can represent yourself however you want, but to go out to Russia and say, I feel like I'm Russian because you're my biggest supporters, it's whack to me, because I can go anywhere in the world. I can go to Puerto Rico and they can scream. I can get 1,000 people out there. But I can't, I'm not gonna say I feel like I'm Puerto Rican, even though I am, or, you know. Yeah. I will always represent Bushwick, no matter where I'm at, and that's what I did. You know what I mean? I don't come out of Bushwick and say you're from Bushwick and then feel like you're from somewhere else. No matter where I am in the world, my heart is in Bushwick, and I will rep it to the day I die. In fact, I'm gonna say this, I didn't want to, but I will. My daughters already know that when I die, they're gonna cremate me and spread my ashes from Minahan, down Knickerbocker, up Star Street, down Trotman. And that's where I want all my ashes to be. Wow. So that I leave my shit right there.
Your ashes could be in your neighborhood.
Yeah, a little bit all the way around, from Minahan to Trotman and to Star Street, and 111 Park. A little bench when JR and I used to practice. We would practice there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. For those of y'all that haven't checked out that battle, go check out that battle of the gods between Papo774 and King Uprock. It was a great battle. One thing I definitely got from that battle is I really commended both of y'all. Like I said, that really reminds me of bringing like a Muhammad Ali and a Joe Frazier to fight now. It would be like, whoa. Yeah. And for y'all to go out there jet lagged, both of you were, in your age that you were, and go out there and deliver to that audience and the crowd worldwide, that was amazing. Yeah. Going all the way from the beginning of this interview, you described yourself as a shy church kid that grew up in the neighborhood. And to see your journey from a shy church kid to this worldwide event that has shown the world many of our icons, elders, battling each other. Yeah. And now you're one of those elders, you're one of those icons. What does that mean for you, that whole journey?
Oh man, it's a blessing to be able to do it. and to be able to still represent, you know, me, represent dynamic spinners. But before we go there, I just wanted to share this too. When I was in Russia, went to this club, and in that club, I have a couple of clips where I went to the DJ and I said, yo, can you throw on some rock shit, some, you know, James Brown? He said, yeah, sure. He started throwing it. And there was about 4 or 5 guys that were rockers there. And I was battling all of them, boom, boom. I was battling this one kid from Brazil. And when I was battling him, I was fine, I was burnt, boom, all kinds of stuff. He just came over to me and said, yo, to get burned by you is the biggest thing for me. He says, it's one of the biggest feels that I have, being able to be in front of you, dance with you, and having you burn me like that. You know, and this kid was from Brazil. So anyway, I battled, we danced about 5 songs, maybe, no, I said about 3 songs. After that, it calmed down a little bit. Ralph showed up with all his guys, right? His guys are all lined up. I was standing in my spot here, and I was just watching them. I had just finished dancing a bunch of songs, and he was at the other end standing. So some of the promoter guys were like, damn, it looks like a
standoff.
A standoff, yeah. And then a lot of his crew guys kept going like this, yo, come on, come in front of me. And I was like, nah, you know. I said, and then one guy came close to me and said, yo, let's dance. I said, look, man, one, I'm too old for this. I just finished dancing, and I'm saving my shit for your man over there. So, no, I don't want to dance right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We left it at that. I went to the mall, got me some coffee. I come out the mall, and Ralph is walking with all his boys. So I said, what's up? He looked, this is just straight up shit. He looked at me and said, so where we going, man? So where we going? And they all started walking. He just completely ignored me. Because I did have a lot of intentions to just sitting down with him and have one-on-one. You know, if he was mad and we were alone, we were talking, let's fucking have it out right there. It didn't matter to me. But I wanted to squash it, man. I really did. And when we did the judge show, when they did the battle and stuff, we judged it. We went up to a room, it was me and him right there, one-on-one alone. And we just, you know, we managed to pick. I said, yo, I think this guy did better, that guy did better. He goes, yeah, okay, we'll go with that guy. And, you know, we worked together for that moment in that room. That was the perfect time to say, all right, man, all you gotta do is confront me, because I'm not mad at him. Confront me and say, all right, bro, what the fuck is up, man? And we could have just did it right there. Yeah. But no, we picked our winners. We did it calmly, like 2 civilized people, and then we went down, went about our business. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it right there. But, you know, it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
So, and another reason why I feel like I won that thing is because at one point towards the end of the last song, I was throwing jerks at him. I backed him. I was backing him up. He almost sat down in front of on the people on the bench. When I did that and I walked away, I was like, that's it, brother. You're done. You know, that was my opinion. You know, because some people tell me, yo, when you was throwing him all the jerk and he was backing up like this, he's like, yo, he said, we was like watching a big fight, you know, on TV, on cable. He said, man, we were screaming and jumping, go.
You know, that's how it was. It was like watching, like Roy Jones fight. It was like a cable It was like that type of vibe. It definitely was.
But it was a little hard to go traveling, and these b-boys say the same thing. It's not easy to fly out there and then stop battling.
Yeah, because I heard that it was almost like 1 or 2 hours off your flight, you guys battled. Yeah. It wasn't like a thing where it happened the next day, or you guys got a chance to rest.
In our case, something I think it was gonna rain, it started raining or whatever, and they postponed it to the next day, so we did get a little rest, but not enough, you know what I mean? And then you're sleeping in a bed that you're not used to. I mean, a lot of things come into play.
A lot of things come into play when you travel.
Know what I mean? Yeah. And I wasn't comfortable with the sneakers I had on at that time. When I sat down, I was like, fuck, I should have brought my black sneakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of stuff.
With me, I got a few right when I dance. You know? If I don't got on the right shoes or whatever, like I can't rock with Adidas. If I have hard shell Adidas, if you call me out, it's like, yo, if somebody's got a size 10 and a half, you know, something comfortable, I'll get down. But if I'm not gonna get, you can't, they're too heavy, like too flat.
Yeah. So going back to my question, I mean, you have this lifelong journey in this dance.
Yeah.
You've traveled to other countries I can't imagine that you thought you would go to when you
Yeah,
was young.
yeah.
I'm sure even your family, people close to you,
Yeah, my
they
daughters,
just see you as Pop or
Yeah,
Uncle,
yeah.
but the world sees you as
Yeah.
Papo774.
Yeah.
How is that for you? You know,
Yeah.
because when you describe yourself as a shy church kid and
Yeah.
how the teacher can't even get you to speak,
Yeah, yeah.
and to now you're talking, you're traveling, you're
Yeah.
teaching, you're organizing, you're organizing jams, you're doing interviews.
Yeah. Well, dancing, rocking, took me out of that shell, right? But it also made me a little bit angry and aggressive because when we rocked back there, there was no tape, there was no line, there was no keep your distance. We were at it like this, you know, you were like, blah, and then you just, blah, you hit back, and they were rough battles, you know what I mean? So a lot of that brought me into that whole, having that fight mentality. You know what I mean?
Street mentality.
Yeah. So, you know, it kind of gave me a little bit of an aggressiveness. Like I'll just say how I feel, you know what I mean? And sometimes I need to stop doing that, you know what I mean? Because I could say something to the wrong person one day, you know, and regret it. But, you know, it really, really feels good to know that I'm still here and part of it, you know what I mean? And I don't see it as being anything like this. You know, I don't see myself as a legend, you know, an icon, or whatever you want to call it. I just, a person who was there in the beginning, not as a first generation, but at the same time, first generation didn't go that far back, and there was not a whole lot going on. When I came in as a second generation, I was part of the whole shit. You know what I mean? I was there through all of it. So, you know, I have things to express. I have knowledge to share, you know? And when I share it the dance with love, man. Because I love this dance. I love to dance in general. Wherever I go, I dance wherever I go, man. I went to Universal Studios. They delayed the parade,
The marching band parade.
yeah, the Mardi Gras. So they had these guys coming through, bam, 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 da, da, da. They were just four of them. They were by themselves, walking down. Everybody sitting down on the sidewalk, on the curb, waiting for the parade. They said there'll be a delay. I said, delay. When they started playing, bam, bam, boom, I got up, started dancing.
And that starts a whole vibe.
I threw on a little show. And then one guy's, I said, yo, what's going on? He says, I don't know. I said, well, you need me to get down and perform? He says, I might take you up on that. Because he didn't know how long the delay was going to be. I said, just get somebody to play a nice beat on that music that's playing on the speakers, and I'll get down, you know what I mean? So I just love to dance, man, you know? I will always dance wherever I go, but to be able to still do it with my conditions, with the way you know, things I go through physically, it to me is just a blessing, man, you know? It's a good feel, you know? Because I do have a lot of injuries. You know, I have a condition on my spine that's never gonna heal, it's just gonna get worse. So my doctor says, I don't know how you're dancing, but you shouldn't be. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna stop, because if I stop, I'm gonna get all hunched back, and I'm gonna walk around like this, because my spine is becoming one solid bone. You know, that's what's happening, and that causes your spine to get like this. And sometimes I find myself doing this a lot. I'm like, man, put your head up, keep your head up. You know, I put my shoulders back, and I try to always stay active, little ways or whatever. So, yeah. But man, my heart goes out to everybody, man, that's in this dance. You know, I try to apologize to anybody. I apologize to you. I know we had a few words, but you know, just like I said what I said, my apologies are just as genuine. You know what I mean? And I've apologized to a lot of people. You know, I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for what I did. You know, I'm sorry for what I posted about you. I have done that quite a bit, you know. But that's all you can do, right? Either they accept it or they don't. So I leave it right there.
Definitely.
You know, I'm good. You know, if you want to be good with me, we good. If not, then now that's on you. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And I would love to squash this beef with Ralph, man. I really do. Oh, and here's another thing. I'm sorry. When we were battling, he did this thing where he pulled out some panties, right? I thought it was kind of funny, you know. Unnecessary for a Bushwick rocker to pull out, you know, just like the Burger King hat. Those things are not part of rock. But, you know, to bring out a video game thing and then pull out the panties. The only thing I said that day, I sat down and I said, oh, I recognize those panties. That's what I said, as a joke. He's saying I constantly talking shit about his wife. He's saying this all the time, that I'm talking shit about his son. I didn't even know he had a son. I knew he had a daughter. And Diana, we're friends. When we had the events in Bushwick and went to the Rock Factory, we had the barbecues, me and her, I got pictures, me and her sitting down, we're talking about our daughters. Now, once she ever mentioned a son, and we talked about our daughters and blah, you know, and, you know, good. When I went to Boston for their event out there, Ralph was there. You was there.
Yeah.
Remember this guy, he knocked the hat off of you, right? Yeah. You saw when Ralph jumped in front of me, right? Here's the thing, right? I saw Diane. I said, hey, Diane. She said, hey, how are you? I said, where's your husband? Oh, he's somewhere around there. I said, all right, cool. So then I walked over again to Ann. Ann said, I saw him over there. I said, okay. I walked over there. I walked around to look for him. I saw him. He doesn't know I saw him. I saw him. He saw me. He ran around this pole, and he went like this on the pole. I'm coming this way from the dance floor. I saw he did that, so I left him alone. I kept walking. I went outside, got me a Red Bull, and I ran into you guys.
Yeah.
I saw you guys.
Yeah.
He ran and hid behind the pole like he didn't want to know that he was there. But I already had seen his wife. You know what I mean? So then when we got on the dance floor, he runs and jumps in front of me like, yo, I'm here. Like I didn't know he was there. And I started laughing because I found it funny that he did all that. I didn't understand why he did it, but he did it and he jumped in front of me. We danced a little bit. You know, I threw a couple of burn moves that didn't go hard because my heart was racing. I drank a Red Bull and messed me up. And I got AFib fibrillation, you know? So my heart was like, Anyway, I stuck my hand out to shake his hand, man, and he just walked away and left me hanging, you know? So I was like, whatever, man. Somebody noticed. He said, yo, why he leave you hanging like that? I said, I don't know, man. He's always angry at me, man.
Maybe one day the problem will be resolved.
I would love to resolve it, man, because, you know, where's this kid shit already? I'm old and whatever, you know? So I don't know how much longer I've got to dance.
Yeah.
You know, but I am willing to battle him again, you know? So.
Nearing the end of the interview, throughout the interview, you said it. Troutman, Bushwick, Bushwick, Bushwick.
Yeah.
Ralph represents Bushwick. Touch Rock represents Bushwick. The neighborhood of Bushwick is such an integral part of this culture.
It is.
An integral part of dance. From the churches that used to host the events, the parks, McCarran Park, the schoolyard parks, all the parks.
Yes.
Can you talk about and describe Bushwick's contribution to dance culture, to Hispanic culture in not only New York, but the greater America, you know?
Well, all I know is that when we all became interested in rock and the dance itself, it was, all of Bushwick knew it, man. Parents, women, ladies, everybody knew about rocking, you know? Not just the crew thing, but just the fact that wherever you went along the whole strip of Knickerbocker, Bushwick area section, rock was known. Everybody did it, you know, and everybody, it was just a way of life that went from being into a gang life into this dance life, into not fighting but battling, you know, and it became a whole thing, you know. It was a beautiful thing, man. And then to have also the hustle, the Latin hustle, you know, and people just doing it everywhere. Whenever you did events in the parks, man, it was always big turnouts. So it was a big thing for me and for everybody out there, man. It was just a way of life. No, I don't think anybody, especially me, myself, never went through that whole thing with the anticipations of like, you know, I did this back then, I did that, because one day I'm gonna have to share this. things like that never came across. So when some people talk about, yeah, it was May 3rd or whatever, May of 1986 or 1974 was in May. Whoever is being specific as to what they were going, I find it a little hard to believe because you can't remember everything. Like I said, we weren't there to remember because we were going to share it. All we can do now is share it the best we can. You know what I mean? And again, the rock cruise came later, man. I keep saying it came later. And it's not about Dynamic Spinners being the first crew to come out with the shirts and stuff. It's not even about that. There were no crews. We became crews, and that took off like everything else, you know. Freestyle came in. Everybody started doing freestyle routines, whatever. It was just a style, just a way of life that we had back then, man. So I think a lot of the play of rock, breaking and all that, regardless to where it came from, Bushwick plays a big part. Even with DJs, DJ Flowers and the Stomp,
Crazy Rob, everyone.
Crazy Rob, yeah. I used to make Crazy Rob all his flyers. Me and this other kid. Yeah, but pretty much used to always come to me to make his flyers. And a lot of them said Papo, my phone number. I created all that stuff. Because I was an art major, art and advertising design.
Okay.
That was before computers. So everything was done by hand with the papers for the colors, dividing it. So I was learning, but at the same time I was doing shit for Rob, making flyers for him and all that. So. And Ralph supposedly has a bunch of those flyers.
Yeah. I saw a clip of you guys kind of looking at some of the flyers. Bugging out.
Yeah, I made a lot of them.
Wow. Party, I want to talk about fashion. What were you wearing back then? Because I know that the schoolyard, is the skippies and whatever, but when you go into those major competitions, you want to look your sharpest.
Well, whenever me and JR danced, we always wanted to have our spins be smooth, Okay. So we used to actually wear Capizios, dance shoes.
Okay.
I would have my sneakers and all that. Whenever it was time for us to get on, we'll throw on our gear and we'll put those shoes on and we'll get down. We were doing routine freestyle with actual dance shoes, professional dance shoes. So whenever it was like butter.
Flying.
And another reason why our spins were so sweet was because we did it every day in 111 Park and this bench. I have a picture. I was there yesterday. We sat at that bench. We smoked a little, a joint, just to get a nice creative thing going. We played the music on, and let's do this. How about if we do this? So whenever we did spins, we did them on that concrete. We literally kept spinning on concrete, so that when we did do it without shoes on, it was gonna flow. You know what I mean? We used to close our eyes. We used to blindfold ourselves. Ready, go. Oh. And have somebody watch us to see if we were still on point with hand claps and all that without seeing each other. And we used to do some shit, bro. We were that in sync, man. Yeah. Like if you had a big curtain here, a blanket, a light shining, we was on that side, and all you saw was a shadow dancing. Yeah. If you saw both of us dance, you probably couldn't tell who was who. You would only be able to tell because he had an afro and I didn't. But if it wasn't for that, you won't know, okay, is that Pops or is that JR,
And where is JR these days?
Well, he started working for the Long Island Railroad, and he's been there forever. He retired, I want to say, a few years ago. I called him several times, and I tried to talk to him about, let's do an interview, let's just talk about it a little bit. And he was like, I don't want to know about none of that. He says, yo, that I did what I did because you loved it. So I was there to support you, but that really wasn't my thing. He told me, he said, that really wasn't. He was like, but I did it because I know what it meant for you. Yeah. And he also messed up his knees. He said, man, I barely walk. They call me grandpa when I'm working with his coworkers and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I guess he said he was going to move to Florida, once he was done. But I haven't heard from him since. Yeah. Yeah, another thing that I did do too was that when we started losing a lot in Bushwick, we went out to the city and we started doing a lot of shows. With IDRC, That's where I kind of got the name from too. International Record Pool Center, disco record pool for DJs. And he knew a lot of groups, bands, you know. He knew Michael Peters and a lot of celebrities, you know. And he used to put on shows. So we became part of his little tour thing. So we would do shows in high schools and different places. I got to meet a lot of singers and performers with hits back then. And also got to meet Gregory Hines.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the cool part was that I was doing a show that night and I was just getting loose by myself. And he saw me, he was like, "Get it, brother, get it." And he stood there, bro, watching me. And I was getting down. It was like, yo, that was cool, you know what I mean? So that's what me and Jay did. We got out of Bushwick and we started doing things over there.
Yeah.
You know, we started doing shows with Latin Symbolics. The manager of the Latin Symbolics, anyway, he started managing us a little bit with Eddie Rivera. They're both dead, so I can't confirm the truth on that. But yeah, that's what we did. And after that, you know, it slowed down. You know, I got caught up in the drugs and so on and so forth, you know. Life went on, so, yeah.
Well, Papo, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your history, your ups and downs, your tribulations.
Yeah, man.
Do you have any lasting messages for the rock world out here? I mean, right now, when I went to freestyle sessions, what I said to me when I came back, I said, this is the first time, and actually for one of the first time I can remember since probably when I first came into the scene of around maybe the 2010 era, 2000, when Chuck threw the Mastermind in the Backyard.
Right, yeah.
Of so many high quality rockers being in one building.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone at freestyle sessions for the most part that was on that line was quality.
Yeah.
Everyone brought something.
Yeah.
No one was whack.
Yeah.
So today we have a good crop of rockers worldwide, from Eastern Hemisphere to Southern Hemisphere, North America, South America, Europe, Asia. I mean, I'm sure Australia someone's rocking. Africa's coming next, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna get Africa rocking in a minute.
Yeah.
What is the message that you have to the rock world? You know, speak to the rock world. Talk to
Don't stop rocking. And if you are a rocker and you like to rock, love it. Really love the dance. And when you're doing it, don't dance where you're just doing movement. Really listen to the music, really feel the music. Let your soul and your funk flow with your movements. When you're moving to a song, man, you gotta feel that thing, you know? Y'all probably heard James Brown, "Give It Up, Turn It Loose" 100 times, but do you feel it when you hear it? Do you still feel it? Does your hair stand when you hear it? I've been hearing that song for over 40 years, and it still brings chills to me. And I still, when I dance it, I move to the funk of it, you know? And I put my soul into my movements, whatever it is. If you look at me when I'm dancing, I think you can sense the feel other than the movement, you know what I mean? And don't jerk whack, jerk hard. Always go hard, man. When you're battling, go hard, you know? And if you ever want to talk to me, send me a message and share with me. I will do my best to bring you along so you can grow. And so all those rockers out there who are really good, there's a lot of good rockers all around the world. Share your stuff. Grow it to other people, man. Share it so this dance doesn't die out and it keeps going. And if you want to be a Dynamic Spinner member, just send me a message. Would love to have you. Care to sign up?
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you so much, Papo. I would like to say once again, thank you for this interview. This is Talkin' Rock. I would like to thank everyone once again for watching Talkin' Rock and subscribing to Vitamin Vision TV. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Any other thing you want to say?
Well, you've got my support, and I will follow, and if I can contribute, let me know, man, because I love this dance. I can't stress it enough, you know. I love the rock, and I want it to keep going. And I got a lot of love for a lot of people, man, and if I've bumped head with you, my apologies. I want to make things right, and I want to be at peace with everybody, man, you know. So.
Peace out.
Peace.